Hey, this is Bobbi Kahler with Unyielded. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my good friend, Scott Ferguson.
Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I got an awesome interview for you today with my really good friend, Bobbi Kahler from Unyielded. And Bobbi is, a rock star athlete. She's always on the go, whether it's cross-country skiing, disc golf, cycling, but she's so unyielded. She's always working relentlessly to refine her skills. And that's what I love about her. And she can help you refine your skills as well. She is my friend out in Colorado. She reminds us that we are the reflections of the choices we have made so far, but we can also be the hero of our story. So I'm just going to shut up and let her take it right now. So sit back, relax, break out your notebooks, because here comes my really good friend, Bobbi Kahler from Unyielded. Let's level up. Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. It is Scott Ferguson. And I'm just going to be full disclosure right now. We were doing this interview yesterday and my camera took a poop, and my awesome friend, Bobbi Kahler, is like, listen, I'll come back tomorrow because she knows the value. I'm kidding. But she's like, I'll come back tomorrow and do this. But Bobbi is just fantastic. She's my lady that's out there in the great state of Colorado, an awesome cross-country skier. She does it every day. She had this epiphany in New Year's Eve where she was working double shifts and going home by herself and knew something just wasn't right with her life. And she really kind of said, hey, this is it, man. I'm going to start leveling up. And we say here at Time to Shine Today. And Bobbi draws upon her own personal experiences that we just talked about a little bit of overcoming incredible odds to recover her health and her graduate degree to help prepare for and tackle the challenges life has to offer. She's coached more than 3,000 people to help them thrive, not only survive, but thrive. And that's just awesome to see. She is the owner of Unyielded. We're going to get into a little bit about her podcast. And also she has a fantastic course, which we're going to talk about at the end, Start Your Future Today. So Bobbi, welcome again to the Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. Please introduce yourself. But again, I know your favorite color. Can you say it again for us, please?
Certainly. It is orange.
Yeah. Why is it orange again?
That's right. Because it reminds me of being outside. It's bright, It's sunny, it makes me happy, and that's where I'm happiest, is when I'm outside.
And you know what? Colorado has, to me, kind of the best of both worlds. I'm just an ocean guy. That's the reason why I live here. I would either live in Tennessee or Colorado if I was landlocked, But I got this big, huge Epsom salt thing over here that I'm in every day. So keeps me a little young. But you got those snow-capped mountains, and then you have a beautiful summertime as well, right?
Oh, my gosh. It's amazing. So we've got, where we are, we've got the mountains, and then we're right near the biggest lakes in north, for the highest elevation lakes in the country. And
that's
they're
awesome.
Beautiful. Yeah. Best of both.
Awesome. Yes. Awesome. So let's get into that epiphany time frame when I believe you're waiting tables, if I'm correct.
I was a hostess.
Okay.
And a receptionist.
Hostess and receptionist. So let's go there with the kind of the origins of maybe that like lonely night in 89.
Yeah. New Year's Eve. What a way to spend your New Year's Eve, right? Working 2 jobs, and I went home. And so there I was in the lonely little apartment. And I had this thought, like, how did my life turn out this way? Because no one draws up their life to look like what mine did. But when I asked that question, like to nobody, because no one was there, the answer that came back is that my life was a reflection of the choices that I'd made so far. Yes. And at first I'm like, well, that's kind of a bummer, because there's no fun in that. But then as I sat there with that, I thought, that's hopeful. Because what that means, what that means is that if I learn how to make better choices, I can get a better result. And here's kind of the kicker for me, Scott. It wasn't like I was making horrible decisions. It was that the decisions, the choices, they weren't going to lead me someplace new.
Right.
They were going to lead me exactly down the same path I was on. And I knew that path wasn't going where I wanted to go. Not that I had any idea where I wanted to go, but I just knew there was something more.
Your questions weren't powerful that you're asking yourselves to answer, basically, kind of, right? Like you were like saying, "Oh, I'll wake up, I'll go to work." Yeah, that you're asking, but it wasn't like, "How can I challenge myself?" and whatnot. Yeah. Is that what I'm hearing a little bit?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I was taking in. Here's the other thing: I was taking in information that was around me, but it was nothing new. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's amazing. So let's talk about how you kind of leveled up then from that into, being a coach of over 3,000 people.
Yeah. Well, it really made me start taking stock of where am I? What do I want? And this was not a fast journey, right? I was only 23 at the time. It took me a while, but I knew pretty quickly I was going to have to leave where I was living because there just weren't that many opportunities. And so I found a way to move. I got a better job so I could afford to put myself through college. And it was so funny. The last class I wanted to take was psychology because I'm like, I don't care about psychology. And it was the only class that was available when I started college. And then the rest is history because it's what I fell in love with.
I love it.
Yeah, but you never know. It was just, I was so hungry to learn new things.
So were you a psychology major?
It was in my undergrad. My actual undergrad is in human performance improvement.
Ooh, okay. Nice.
Yeah. So a lot of psychology, a lot of adult learning,
yeah.
And leadership. So it was just, and it was funny because I didn't really pick that. I just kept choosing classes that I liked. Right. That's where it kind of led.
That's awesome. Like, what did your parents, were your parents pushing you that way to human performance, or what did they want you to be?
Oh gosh, Scott. No, they didn't want me to go to college.
Oh, okay.
I actually had to fight with my mom to stay in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They just didn't believe. Yeah. I'm serious. I might be the only kid in America who had to fight to stay in high school.
Wow.
They didn't believe in higher education. Didn't think it was necessary. So when I told them I was going to go to college, they just looked at me like, why would you waste your money?
Right.
So it was different.
Okay. So what do they think about you leveling up and helping people level up?
I think now, my mom passed away in 2008.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. She, it all worked the way, it was, sure. So it's okay. But I think now, and even before my mom died, I think that they're happy about it. I don't know that they've always understood it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, because it's very different than anyone else I'm the only one in my immediate family. Well, now my sister has as well, but I was the first to go to college.
Wow. Okay.
And it was just very different.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're not mad at you, but they're like a crab in a bucket where they don't want you to crawl away from their comfort with you, kind of. And I get that.
That's right.
Went through the same thing, man. We are so kindred in so many things.
Yeah.
So do you coach people more one-on-one, or is it group coaching, or what's your sweet spot?
I do both.
Okay.
The 3,000 people, that has all been individual.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something. When you're bringing somebody in to, maybe you're in the discovery period, it is like, what kind of secret sauce, if you don't mind me sharing there, Unyielded, that you use to maybe help them find their blind spots? Oh man,
there's so much. It all begins with awareness, mm-hmm. right? There's a great book by Tim Galway, The Inner Game of Tennis, and it's about coaching. Yeah, I highly recommend that book. It's awesome. Okay. And he talks about what we're really trying to do is help people see themselves in action. Because when they see themselves in action, they can start to give themselves feedback. Wow. And so it's asking those questions that will help them, like, hey, in this moment, I heard you say X, Y, Z. As you think about it now, what's your take on that? How could that have been, perceived? Those types of things.
Wow. That's amazing. So when you're bringing, let's say how we put this, when you're bringing somebody in, it's still in the discovery period. Is there any good question you wish they would ask you, but never do?
That is a really good question.
Yeah. I mean, there's one that would be like, I coach executive level people, and I just wish that they would be like, listen, how are you going to hold me accountable? Or, stuff like that. I mean, you're already going to answer it, but some people, they're deer in the headlights, are flying blind and stuff. Or else, tell me about a fail, Kahler, like, Bobbi, actually, let's go that route. Tell me about one of your fails.
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh man, there's so many. Gosh, I would say when Rick and I, my husband, in 2000, I started my own business. In 2001, he joined me, and we probably shouldn't have started the business. Yeah, really, truly, we shouldn't have. And here's the problem with it. We were trying our best, like a lot of entrepreneurs do. We were very scattered, And I was working so hard that I worked myself into a collapse, which
Wow.
very near. I mean, I've had doctors, Scott, that told me afterwards, they're like, you're lucky that you're still alive.
Well,
And some have
3,000
said,
people too. Jeez.
yeah,
Man.
well, most of that's come after that time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was, it was just, when you work that hard and you're trying your best and then you collapse and you're like, that's it,
Right.
that was hard.
Wow. So have you ever been brought in by, because I'm asking this for a very selfish reason. Have you ever been brought into a company that is like you're going to be coaching up a lot of people underneath the CEO? Have you ever in that? Okay. So what is your techniques that you use? Because there's always that one that's right under them that's going to push back, like, those companies running good. How do you get across that barrier with dealing with maybe the second in command?
See, here's the thing. I work primarily in organizations. I work a lot with the frontline managers.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm working, very, very near to the customer.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, which is really kind of cool.
Yeah.
But you still see resistance at every level.
Sure.
But it's not the second in command. Not at all.
Got it. But that's cool that you set yourself up to work so close to the customer, because then it all feeds back up the chain. Now, that's an art form that you have got. That's fantastic. So if I'm out at a networking event, and here in South Florida, we can press flesh and meet people masked up, at least until March 11th. But, because we're in day 9,256 of quarantine here. But, if I'm at a networking event, Bobbi, either virtual or in person, what kind of things am I listening for? Because, I'm using the whole shut up and listen, 2 ears, one mouth. And what am I listening for that would make them a great contact, connection, or referral for Bobbi at Unyielded?
Yeah. So here's why a lot of people call me. Part of it is, I do this stuff with managers and helping them coach their team. So part of it is a manager who's like, man, I want to be a better coach for my team. Don't know how. That's one angle. For Unyielded, why people call is they're like, I know that I want to do more with my life. I don't know what that is. Or I don't feel like I'm totally in control of the story of my life. Those are, and those are the people I love helping.
Wow.
I mean, I love all of it. Don't get me wrong, but it's just something really special about helping someone craft their own story so that they can live their life their way.
Love that. Is with 3,000 people during this time, a very short time, is there any of them that have really stuck with you a long, long time?
Yeah, there's a few of them.
Nice. That's awesome to have that core, isn't it?
Oh my goodness.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And some of the stories you just never forget.
Right. That makes it. And because you've helped them, you're more, seem to me like more of a coach than a consultant. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but you're going to give them the playbook and some options, but if they got to call an audible in their life, you're preparing them to be able to do that correctly. Am I saying that right?
Absolutely. It's all about empowering them, because there's a point, Scott, they shouldn't need me anymore. If I'm doing my job right, they shouldn't need me at a point. Not that I don't want to stay in touch and hear what's going on or be a resource, but it's all about empowering them because they've got everything they need. They just have to put it together.
Love it. I love it. That's amazing, because a lot of coaches, they go into a lack mindset and they're like, oh man, if I lose this one, I can never replace it. You actually want them to spread their wings, for lack of a cliche, better term. You want to get out there and fly. That's
exactly
awesome.
Right.
That's fantastic. So you've heard, well, of course, you've probably seen the movie Back to the Future, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So let's get into that. DeLorean with Marty McFly. Let's go back to the 23-year-old Bobbi Kahler. Or it might not have been Kahler then, but let's go back to the 23-year-old Bobbi. What kind of knowledge nuggets, we call them that here at Time to Shine Today, what kind of knowledge nuggets are you dropping on her to maybe help her level up, blast through, and maybe shorten the learning curve a little bit?
Yeah. Believe in yourself. That's one. Know that you can learn whatever you need to learn. You can learn it. So don't be confined by where you are or what you currently know. I guess that's another way of saying that.
Wow.
And another one is just start. Just do something.
Just go.
Just go. Because by going, you'll learn.
Right. And like my good friend Leah Woodford always says, get your asking gear. Like if you need something, ask, right? So you just said that you can learn. And if you don't know how, you can ask, because there's always people there that are going to help you out. I mean, absolutely.
There are people who know it.
Right. Exactly. So how do you want Bobbi's dash remembered? You know, that little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date. How do you want Bobbi's dash remembered?
Yeah. She helped people see possibilities for themselves.
See possibilities, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Love that, through the unyielded way. I love that. That's fantastic. So, Bobbi, what keeps you up at night?
Oh, what keeps me up at night? It all depends. Right now it's our dog who's in failing health, but
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, it's heartbreaking. I don't know. It's sometimes it's like, you know, what can I do next?
Sure.
And sometimes I don't have a clear answer for that, but you know, it's like, what's next? What can I do? What's the next tree branch I can climb?
So what do you do to get at peace? Are you a meditator? Are you breath work? Or what do you do, Bobbi?
Number one, being in nature. Huge for me. Being in nature.
You try to go barefoot as much as you can?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Connect to the ground.
Yes, absolutely. Grounded,
not in the wintertime.
No, you can't do that. Well, there's people like Wim Hof that would do that. I don't know if you ever heard of him, the breath guy, but yeah. No, thank you.
And I just found a great app called it's about mindfulness. It's about healthy minds or something like that.
Okay.
And they talk about breath work and really training your mind to be at peace. So I just started that and it's amazing so far. Yeah.
I use Wim Hof method and also Troy Casey's breathing, and it's the certified health nut. That's awesome. Because, you know, you can go 3 weeks without food, a week without water, but breath, maybe 3 minutes. It's like, I'm just starting after 5 years hitting my pelvic floor. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's how long it's taken me to really get the breath right. But I'll tell you what, it's liberating. And I'm not one of those, I'm like, really hit it. So that's great. As long as you're breathing. So
that's right. And really breathing.
Yes. So who has had the biggest impact on your life?
Oh, the biggest impact on my life. Is this someone I know personally, or it can be like
it can be anything, anybody, anything.
I would say one person that comes to mind immediately would be my husband, Rick.
Yeah, you better say that. If he's listening, Rick, you got your shout out.
Yeah. Well, he was the one that first encouraged me when I was doubting myself to become an entrepreneur and a writer. He's like, why not? Right. Why couldn't you?
Hell yeah. That's awesome to have that. I have that in my Susan. She's always, I've never, in my squad knows this, I've never invented anything. I do a lot of introductions like you, the people that need the coaching. You know, I've sold real estate. I don't invent the real estate. You know, I'm writing a book now. And Susan is just like, did you do your 500 words? Did you do it? Did you throw up on your paper today? She would say. So it's awesome to have that person in your life. So give me the worst advice you've ever been given. Not by who, but the worst advice you've ever been given. The worst advice. Oh. Maybe don't finish high school. I'm just kidding.
that could be one. You know, I think that it's a variation of people who wanted me to believe in my limitations. And there's just no way I'm doing that.
Yes. That's amazing. So what do people misunderstand about Bobbi the most?
I would say that some people, they see me as very competitive, and I am a competitive person, but I'm competing against myself.
Yeah.
Not against others.
Bobbi in the mirror from yesterday.
That's right.
Good for you.
That's right.
That's awesome. Yeah. So Bobbi, what's your definition of a life well lived then?
I think that doing the things that you love in a way that contribute to the lives of other people and you know, something that has meaning to you.
Yes. You know, I take it from Stephen Farber. I went through his course and whatnot. You know, we do what you love in the service of people that love what you do. Right.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. He said that, you know, I'm certified through him and stuff. So it's like, do what you love in the service of people that love what you do. And that's, I do what I love every single day. I mean, I get to talk to awesome people like you, but I also get to sell properties and have people, you know, reach their dreams and their goals. That's fantastic.
Right.
So, hey, time to shine today podcast. Varsity Squad. It is Scott Ferguson, and I am back with my really good friend, Bobbi Kahler from Unyielded. And we are going to take her through our leveling up lightning round. And Bobbi, you and I could talk an hour easy.
Oh, yeah.
Each one of these questions. You got 5 seconds. No explanations. And all of them can be answered, I promise you. In that time frame. All right. You ready to level up, my friend?
I am ready.
Let's do it. What is the best leveling up advice Bobbi's ever received?
From a tennis coach who said, if you want to get better, play against better opponents.
Yes, absolutely. Shit, we do that in the jiu-jitsu mat. Yeah, also, it's like you want to get better, wrestle, grapple with someone better. Awesome. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
My ability to relentlessly refine my skill.
Okay, tennis player. Anyways, so other than BobbiKahler.com and Time to Shine Today podcast.com, that's my shameless plug. What website do you like to go to level up?
Ooh, it changes, but here's my current masterclass.com.
Masterclass.com. Okay, I'm going to put that in the show notes, peeps. Awesome.
It's
so
awesome.
You see me, and the vibe, Fergie's vibe is off. What book are you handing me to get me out of my doldrums?
Ooh. Would depend a little bit more about you, but one I love is Sacred Hoops by Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson.
I love that book.
Great
I love that book.
It is. I love that you're kind of jockey. That's awesome. Awesome. So what is Bobbi's most commonly used emoji when she texts?
It'd be the smiley face. It's boring. The smiley face.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So Bobbi, don't friggin' lie to me right now. Okay. You're an athlete. So I know that you got these aches and pains things going on. So it's carried over. But if you could stay one age physically for the rest of your life and still keep the knowledge you've gained and garner knowledge on a daily basis, what age physically would you stay?
The age I am now. 55.
Really? Well, that's fantastic. I would take 32 all day. That's just me.
No, this is my best. This is my best health.
That's it, huh? Love it.
Oh yeah.
Your favorite charity and organization you like to give your time or money to?
Ooh, there is one called Key Leader. It's an organization for high school leadership, and I love it.
Love it. I'm involved in one called Reaching Higher. So it's the same thing. Well, we take. I'm totally breaking my own rule here, but we take like 5 of the top most popular kids and 5 of the ones that are outcasts, and then 15 of them that are in the middle of the pack. And we do a Thursday. We take them out of class for 2 hours. We do the curriculum is just fantastic, and it changes lives, man.
I love
that. The super popular people hanging out. It's kind of like a big Breakfast Club movie. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that. Ooh. Absolutely. It's really cool. So I'm glad that you're doing that as well and helping shape our future. So this is our last question.
Okay.
And you can elaborate on this one. But what is the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Oh, man. Depends on the genre, right? If I'm thinking more rock, I'd say 70s. And if it's country, early 80s.
There you go. Love it. Love it. Good stuff. So how can we find you, Bobbi?
You can find me at unyielded.net or bobbikahler.com. And I'm very active on LinkedIn as well.
Yes, you are. Absolutely. And let's talk about the Unyielded podcast.
Yeah. So the Unyielded podcast is where I find guests who share their stories of growth and triumph. Some of those are people who have dealt with adversity, and a lot of them are people who kind of answered that call of, I know there's something more, and how did they go about finding it? And I love it. God, I learned so much.
I can't wait to be on it. Awesome.
Anytime, Scott, anytime.
All right, let's go with this new course that's going to be rolling out. When is it rolling out? April, May?
It's going to be late April.
Late April. Okay. Start your future today, right?
Start your future today.
Awesome.
So it's how to get started on creating that story that you want for your future.
Is it virtual, online, or how are we doing this?
It's going to be on demand. So it's going to be video course with worksheets and that type of thing. And the cool thing is, because I want to give people a chance to submit whatever that is and then get feedback and a review so that it's like, okay, terrific. You've created it. What's the next step from here?
That's awesome. I cannot wait.
I'm excited.
And we'll get some people involved in that as well from our squad, because I know that they would love it. And they know that the proof is in the pudding there. So Bobbi, can you leave us pretty please with one last knowledge nugget you want us to take with us, internalize, and take action on?
Yeah. I would say it is knowing that your future can be changed. And more importantly, you can be the one to change your future, because you've got everything you need, and anything that, additional skills or knowledge, whatever, that kind of stuff, it can be learned, but you can be the hero of your own story.
Wow. That's amazing. I got notes, squad. I hope you are too. I mean, this is just amazing. Awesome. So squad, you really just got a free masterclass with my unyielded friend here, Bobbi Kahler. She's going to remind us that you're a reflection of the choices you make. So level up your choices and you'll get better results. Look for new information to level up. Always be on the lookout. Ask yourself more powerful questions, and that information will present itself if you put yourself in that state. She wants to instill awareness in her clients so they can see themselves in action, then get the feedback themselves so they can level up. She doesn't want to keep you as a client forever. She wants you to spread your wings, wants you to do more. And understand that you're in control of your story, and she'll say that a great coach empowers so they can get fired. That's what I just kind of said. She wants you to be fireable as a coach. Wants you to believe in yourself, get your asking gear, get out there and ask questions, because you can always learn to level up. She always wants you to see the possibilities in yourself and never, ever, ever to believe in limitations. She wants you to do what you love. Like we say, do what you love in the service of people that love what you do, because that way you are truly living a leveled up life. And as she says, it's a knowing your future can change and you can be the one. You can be the hero of your story. And Bobbi, you are just amazing. You're beautiful. You're fantastic. You're caring. You're humble. You level up your health. You level up your wealth. You're hungry. You're always giving. You're a total go-giver. So really, I really appreciate your time. I'm so stoked that you came on. I look forward to collaborating in the future, and I can't wait to talk again.
Perfect. I loved it, Scott. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Talk soon. Bye.
Okay.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you are a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.